Hello, this is Ricky from Data Mastery. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about Amazon Kendra. We got a lot of questions and comments to make a video on Amazon Kendra. So here it is. So let's get started with understanding Amazon Kendra and how it works. Uh, so Amazon Kendra is enterprise search service. So it's been there for a while before even Amazon Bedrock and other AI services came out in existence. AWS has launched a lot of managed services powered by AI. For example, Amazon Transcribe or Comprehend, and Kendra was one of those services. Now, in a nutshell, you can understand Kendra is like, you have a bunch of documents and you want to search something out of that documents, right? So you can just integrate your data source with Kendra, ask the questions, and it's going to give you relevant answers and also tells you where it picks the answers from. Now, due to this nature of Kendra, or the way Kendra works, it's a useful service for RAG-based workflows, which came into existence right now, like after so many months or say years since Kendra being launched. So originally it was just a document search service, but now it can be used as part of your RAG workflows. Now, how Kendra works, it's super easy. So you integrate your data source, you create an index. So index is basically where you're going to store your data. So consider it is like a vector store. If you're building knowledge bases using Amazon Bedrock, that also gives you the option to use Amazon Kendra as a vector store database instead of OpenSearch or other databases. So you first of all you have to create an index. So that is basically you will refer to ask the questions to your data and then get the response, and then you have to add the data sources, which is S3 in most of the cases, and then you can just going to test and deploy and start asking questions. Now, before we create an index, I'll just go through S3 and I'll create an S3 bucket, and I will upload some of the sample PDF documents that I have got. So let's create a bucket and call it Data Mastery Kendra Demo, and just click on Create Bucket. So now I have this bucket created. I have like HR policy documents, which are basically just dummy data. So I'm gonna upload those, and that's what we're gonna use to test the Kendra. Okay, so I have a code of conduct policy, and I have employee benefits, and I have a vacation policy. So these are all dummy data, and click on close. So now we have a S3 bucket set up, and we also have some PDF documents, which is essentially HR policies. Now you can integrate Kendra with your own HR policies, your own data source. So let's see how that works. Go to Kendra now, and first thing that we need to do is create an index. So click on create an index and just say Kendra demo. And for the IAM role, I'm just gonna create a new IAM role, and let's call it demo, and then click on next. Now there are different versions of Kendra index right now. One is the Gen AI. This is something which is very useful if you're building your RAG workflows and you want to integrate this with Amazon Bedrock, then you can leverage this Gen AI. Now, as the definition says, this addition incorporates the latest semantic models, enhancing the accuracy of retrieval API, ideal for retrieval augmented generation use case, which is a RAG use case. And you also get some idea about storage capacity, which is 20,000 documents to 1 million documents, query capacity, and AZs, which is basically the index gets deployed to multiple AZs. And then you have a developer edition. This is just to test the Kendra capabilities. This is what I'm going to use right now. If you're building some POCs, if you're just testing out things, it's better to use developer edition. It will cost you less money. And then you have enterprise edition as well. So this is something that you want to use to implement a search service, like not specifically for RAG workflows, but if you want to leverage Kendra just for intelligent document search, then you can use enterprise edition, which is production ready, because it gets deployed into 3 AZ, so it provides HA out of the box, and it also has more storage capacity and query capacity than the developer edition. And click on next. The other thing that you can configure is the token limit. So you can set or define the token based user access, but in this case we are not gonna use that, so just keep it as no. And I'm not gonna integrate this with identity center as well, so I'm just gonna select none for user group expansion option. So click on next. So this is the summary. This is our index name. This is the role which will get created. And this is the edition that we're going to use for now for this POC, and click on create. So the index creation can take a while. As you can see in this notification, it can take up to 30 minutes to create the index. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll resume once the index will be created. All right, so the index has been created. It took me just like 3-4 minutes, not much. So the next step is to add the data source. So just click on add data source. And here it will tell you the different data source that Kendra supports. You can connect it with RDS, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. You can connect with S3. You can connect with Postgres, and some external connectors as well. You can connect with Confluence. And this is pretty good because there are many organizations who store their documents or their wikis in Confluence, so you can directly connect with Confluence. And there's also an option of using the custom data source connector if the data sources that you are using is not listed in the supported list of connectors, then you can use this option of custom data connector. You can connect with Dropbox, with GitHub, IBM DB2, Google Drive, Jira connector. So there are like a whole bunch of connectors which are supported by Kendra. So you have SharePoint, you have ServiceNow. It basically covers majority of the third-party apps which organizations use to store their documents. So most likely you will get the connector out of the list, but in case you're using some other connector, then you can select this option of custom data source connector. It also provides you some sample data sets. If you want to use a sample AWS documentation instead of your own just for the testing, you can add this sample AWS documentation data set as well. So for this, I'm going to use S3 connector because I already have a few documents that I uploaded to S3 bucket. So I'm going to call it HR policies. And then I'm going to click on next. So you can keep this Amazon Kendra US East 1, or you can create your new one. So I'm going to keep the existing role. There's also an option of deploying this connector using a VPC so that your communication remains on the private network. For example, if you want to connect to S3, so instead of going over the public internet, you can use the VPC so that this connector will be deployed in your VPC, and you can have something called like a VPC endpoint for S3 that will be leveraged to connect to S3 and fetch the data. But in this case, I'm just gonna select no VPC and click on next. And then I'm going to select the bucket, which is Kendra demo. And if you have any metadata files location, like if you have metadata stored somewhere, that will help better searching of the documents. You can specify the location of the metadata as well. But in this case, we don't have any metadata. We just have 3 PDF documents. For the sync mode, you can either do the full sync, which is essentially something which you will enable initially. It will do the entire sync of your S3 bucket with your index. And you can also do something like new modify or deleted content sync. So this is something is better for production environments because it will be quick and it will not be charging you a lot of money. The next thing is to run the sync on some schedule. So you can run on demand, or you can also set up some schedule so that the indexing will happen automatically based on a defined schedule. So I'm just gonna select run on demand because I'm going to manually sync the data, and click on next. So there is also something called S3 field mapping. So you can basically, based on the data that you have, you can specify some fields as well, which will definitely help Kendra to for do a better searching. And that's it. You can review your settings and then click on add data source. So the data source has been created. The next thing I'm going to do is to click on sync. So we selected the full sync. That's why it's going to be the full sync, which is essentially 3 documents, nothing much, and it should be completed pretty quickly. One thing I'm going to check real quick is the permissions to the IAM role, because the role that we selected was created for Kendra initially, and then we kept the same role to connect with S3. So I have a doubt that this role might not have required access to required permissions to access S3. So let's take a look. Kendra. So this is our role. This is the permission which was basically created and attached by Kendra when we created the index. And as you can see here, it has access to CloudWatch, and it does not have access to S3. So that was my concern. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to quickly add permission. So I'm just going to add S3 read only. This is AWS managed policy. Click on add permissions. Now make sure that when you're running in prod or even in dev, so make sure that you assign the policies, which basically specifies the bucket where your data is if you're connecting with S3. And it should not be like a fully open policy. Right now, I just added a read only so that I have access to, or the Kendra has access to read all of my buckets, but not write back or modify anything to the data. So, okay, so here you can see that it already failed with the error that you're missing the S3 list bucket action. So we fixed it already. So I'm just gonna run the sync again. Click on sync now. So as you can see, there are 2 steps when we run the data source sync. It has 2 steps. One is the crawling, the other is indexing. The crawling is basically to get the documents, whatever documents that we have in our data source. Kendra is gonna crawl those, like get those documents, and indexing is then store those documents within Kendra. So that's why sometimes it's used as a vector store database as well, because it's gonna convert those documents into embeddings and then store in the index. And when we query the data, then the query is gonna be converted to embedding as well and matched it with the embeddings stored in the index. And then based on the similarity between the query and the data, we will get the appropriate response. So this is how the vector store databases work. This process is very much similar when you even creating the RAG workflow. That's why it's a very good service to be kept as part of your RAG workflow. Okay, we got another permission related error about Kendra batch put document API. So I'm just gonna update the role again. And I'm just gonna use Kendra. Okay, I need to give the full access this time. Click on add permissions and let's try it one more time. Hopefully it's gonna work this time. There's a difference in the error this time though. You can see that it scanned all the three documents because I have three documents in the S3 bucket. So the crawling part was completed. It was able to access the S3 bucket. That was the previous error that we got about the S3 bucket permissions. But this error was specifically about creating the index and, like explained earlier, converting to embeddings and then storing those embeddings into Kendra index. So that's why this batch put document API failed. So it needs to have this permission in order to store the embeddings in the index. So now we have given full access to Kendra. Hopefully we won't run into any more issues. All right, so all of the three documents are crawled and indexed. As you can see that the sync operation has been completed successfully. So now how we can access these documents, how we can start querying these documents. Well, you can either use Boto3 if you want to programmatically access these documents using Kendra, or just for the testing, Kendra has this, you can say a playground, which you can just leverage to, test out how it's performing. So I have, like I said earlier, I have three HR policy related documents that I added, and I'm just going to ask the question based on one of those policies. So let's say how many vacation days each do employees get each year. So now you can see Kendra has suggested the answer. And the good thing is Kendra also tells you where it is picking the answer from. So it also provides you the document reference, like this is the actual document path in the S3 bucket. And these are the topmost documents or the answers that it provides you. So you have like, the 10 days policy, like you can see here. And here you can see 10 sick days, time office, 20 vacation days under employee benefits. So 20 working days are paid each year. So now how this is helpful when you are basically incorporate Kendra into RAG workflows. Kendra is not gonna generate a nice response for you. That's the job of the foundation model. But what Kendra is gonna do for you is gonna pick up the relevant piece of information from the document and pass this information to Bedrock, and the Bedrock is then gonna generate the response for you. Kendra is, like I said earlier, Kendra is a document or enterprise document search service. Kendra is not something which provides you the human-friendly or user-friendly responses. What it does is it gets your query and it looks into the data source, and which are basically indexed, and then it provides you the topmost response along with where it is picking those responses from, the documents itself. Now, what you can do is, let's say you got the 4 responses, right? What you can do is you can pick these responses and you can feed that to your foundation model, and the foundation model is going to give you the response. Well, programmatically, you can make this solution more robust, but Kendra is there to help you intelligently search your documents. And let's ask another question, which is about, let's say, what health insurance benefits are provided. Now it picked the benefits from the employee benefits.pdf. So this is the first one is you can see the topmost response, and this is the topmost document where it gets the most relevant response, but it also gives you the additional responses as well, sorted by the order of relevance. So you can either pick this one and feed it to LLM and get the user-friendly response. but it's able to pick those benefits from multiple documents. But Kendra thinks that the employee benefits.pdf is kind of the most accurate document that provides answer to this question. So here it is. What are the health insurance benefit? And it's covered here. Health insurance includes medical, dental, vision, all that stuff. And when you feed this to foundational model, obviously you will get a better response. So this is how you can leverage Kendra in your RAG workflows. Again, it's a fully managed service. You don't have to manage anything, and it integrates well with Amazon Bedrock and other AWS services. Now, if I quickly show you, if you go to Amazon Bedrock, basically go to knowledge bases, because knowledge bases is what allows you to build end-to-end RAG workflows. So when you go to knowledge bases, and here you have to create your knowledge base. And when you create your knowledge base, you have this option of knowledge base with Kendra Gen AI Index. And this is the feature that's being supported now and recently being added to knowledge base. So what it tells, it says that build a knowledge base powered by Kendra Gen AI Index, offering out of the box high semantic accuracy and flexibility to use the index across Amazon Q Business and Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases. So Kendra integrates perfectly with Bedrock knowledge bases and Amazon Q Business as well. So if you want to keep your solution entirely on AWS, you can definitely use Kendra for document searching. And even if you just like to build a intelligent document search solution, you can definitely use Kendra for that. So I hope this video is helpful, and thanks again for watching. And if you have any question, as always, post your question in the comments. And also your feedback is much appreciated. And thanks for providing all the valuable feedback. That helps us to create more content, and especially the content which you guys want us to create, which you guys want to see and want to learn. So keep that feedback coming in. We really appreciate that. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Cheers.